Well, it seems that video I made yesterday about why some Gen Xers raise their kids the way they did sure struck a nerve. Because apparently saying that some of us chose to raise our kids differently than we were raised is the equivalent of setting the country on fire. Let's get something straight. I never said that every Gen X parent was perfect. Nor did I say that every boomer parent was a shitty parent. But if your entire parenting defense begins and ends with, well, I turned out fine, I need you to take a long, hard look at your browser history. Because screaming at strangers on the internet with slurs and hate and conspiracy theories, that's not fine. It's unhinged. That's rage that's been fermenting since childhood that you're now dumping in the comment section like it's a therapy couch. And while we're here, there's a massive difference between turning out okay and actually being okay. A lot of us survived. Many of us succeeded, but that doesn't mean we're not still unpacking years of trauma. It doesn't mean that we didn't carry shame and fear and silence into adulthood and then passed it on to our kids without even realizing it. And yes, I admitted we overcorrected because we remember what it felt like to cry alone. We remember what it felt like to ignore our own feelings just to survive. So we tried to raise kids that know their feelings matter. But here's where I draw the line. Blaming school shootings and the collapse of society on parents who allowed their kids to have emotions, that's some of the most back-assward, lazy, deflective shit I've ever heard. You think kids with pronouns are what tanked the country? Try decades of unchecked power, unhealed trauma, and a bunch of adults who'd rather torch the village than look at their own reflection. And for the record, I don't make these videos so I can whine. I make them because for most of our lives, we weren't allowed to talk about this shit, and now we are. Because I'm 53 and I don't give a fuck. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's not whining. That's just the truth you don't want to hear. So no, I'm not sorry. I'm proud of my kids and I'm proud of how hard I've worked to break that cycle. If you believe that giving kids emotional vocabulary is what burned the country down, you're not angry with me. You just don't want to admit who lit the match.